Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for our second race of the weekend of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. John Hindorf and Shay Adam in the IMSA Radio Global Broadcast Centre. A little soft morning for us, but nowhere near what we had last time we were here, where we could barely see the cars through the morning mist. It's a lot more pleasant air temperature, just 11 Celsius this morning. We're just off the coast by a couple of miles, so we do get a little bit of that sea fret with the 2.25 mile. The 2.25 mile circuit, 11 corners. Andretti hairpin to start things off, and then it's up to the top of the hill at the corkscrew, and then dropping down through rainy curve to turn 11. Cars are lined up, echelon formation. Speak to Shay Adam in just a moment. I did mention that this was the second race of the weekend, so let's just remind ourselves what went on yesterday. Lovely sunshine, by the way, where we were racing. New colours, red and white for Jared Thomas on the outside of the front row, but it was Aaron Johnson from Bull who led them through the first hairpin. The usual battle in the midfield. Sally Mott coming together with Woody Hyman. That brought out a full course yellow, punched the pack back up again. Big challenge at the top of the hill as Johnson fought off the red and white 96 of Jared Thomas. Then a little bit of a coming together. Alex Bashura got touched by Jonathan Neudorf. Last lap, last chance, through to the lead for Jared Thomas in a 5-car battle that had just come together. Last corner of the last lap. And down the inside for Aaron Johnson. He had to show his pass, he'd gone so far off, and that allowed Nathan Nicholson to challenge the leader, 0.07 of a second at the line. The rookie takes second, Jared Thomas wins it, and top points for him yesterday. Good morning to Shay Adam as the cars are running on their form-up lap.
Good morning, John Hindorf. Yes, after yesterday's race, we did get a couple of changes to the results based on some penalties that were issued, and it's actually resulted in one fewer car on the grid than we were expecting. But the biggest change in all of it was Weston Workman, who was shuffled way back in the pack, as we knew, from that 10-second penalty from changing lanes before the start finish. That is a giant no-no. Well, for Weston Workman, the result was it dropped him down to 5th in the championship, and at the tippy top, we have a tie. Jared Thomas and Gresham Wagner tied 13-10 points for the two of them. Yesterday's pole sitter, the guy who set the fastest lap and led the most laps, and oh, by the way, is on pole for today, Aaron Johnson. He's in second on 1,240.
And it's Aaron Johnson who will lead them around in the blue and black car, the number 24 JTR Motorsport Engineering. A 1-2-3 for the second race. Weather at the moment around about 55 Celsius, so that's what, just about 23, 24, 55 Fahrenheit rather, 23, 24 Celsius. JTR first, second and third, Aaron Johnson and his team boss Jared Thomas on the front row. Nathan Nicholson, best of the rookies, with Tyler Gonzalez, who had a great race yesterday, fighting his way back to just outside of the podium. Then it's Nate Cicero and Gresham Wagner on row 3 for Macumbi Mackinlay Racing. Jeremy Fletcher, another MMR racer in the 22 on the inside of row 4 with Bryce Cornet for Spark Performance. Another Spark Performance driver, Grant West, in 9th with Nick Schaefer in 10th. Bachura, Workman, Neudorf, DeCosta, Atwater, Sally Mott on the outside of row 8. Then Woody Hyman, Heather Hadley, Caden Kelly, Couch, Tyler DeLong, Christian Hodenland and Jean Chotoine on the outside of row 12 to make up our 24 starters. Side by side, the long run from the final corner to the green flag, which is in the air. We're racing. 45 minutes will start now as they cross the line and head down across the rise and down towards the first heavy braking area, exactly as we saw yesterday. 2 wide and several deep. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the circuit. Caden Kelly trying to look up the inside further back in the field, but at the front it's as you were, still side by side with the number 56 of Nathan Nicholson, just been shuffled back a little bit there. He's dropped down to 4th place, and Tyler Gonzalez in the white and green car, Jay, is up a position.
Tyler Gonzalez with a bit of unfinished business after yesterday's race. A post-race penalty dropping him off the podium and well back into the field means that he comes into today's race in 7th in the championship with quite a bit of work to try and catch back up to the lead. 200 points off the lead. He's going to want to get to the front to get those bonus points. And oh no, an incident for Sally Mott as she goes around at turn 5.
Involved in an early race tap yesterday. She started in 16th position. And that is at turn 5. I suspect there's been a little bit of argy-bargy there as Gresham Wagner goes past Nate Cicero.
Oh,
yeah, I think she got a little bit of a help from the other female driver, Heather Hadley there, who'd made up a couple of positions early on from her 18th starting spot. There is cash on the table for the first 10 finishes here, and then again at the end of the year as Wagner goes wide at the end of the first lap. Across the line, Johnson, Jared Thomas, Tyler Gonzalez, then a wee bit of a gap. Back to the red and white car of the rookie Nathan Nicholson. Oh, massive move down the inside from Nate Cicero. Is he going to get that stopped? He sort of has, but sort of didn't as well. Come out of it side by side. And now they are going to try and go 2 wide into turn 3, and surely that will benefit Cicero on the inside line, and it does. And Wagner's still trying to make a move that he started way back in turn 11 on the dirt, and there's a hip check there, and off goes Nicholson. Nathan Nicholson keeps his foot on the 2-litre, 186 horsepower engine, continues to rev, and he comes out right in front of the 13 of Western Workman for BSI Racing. That was a huge moment, and that was side-by-side contact that caused that.
That was a giant sigh of relief on my part, because for Nathan Nicholson, the only parts on his car that are not new from the beginning of this year are the steering wheel, the driver's side door, and the hood. So Nathan really wants to keep this car, which brought him into 2nd place in yesterday's race, in one piece and nice and shiny. It actually brought him out right in front of Weston Workman, which means that our Rookie of the Year championship battle is now taking place straight on the racetrack.
Just wonder if race control might have a look at that between the 2 cars that came together. It was Gresham Wagner, and off has gone Heather Hadley. Heather Hadley's gone off coming up the hill, I think. That
Yellows
is
are
full
out.
course yellow, and Gresham Wagner's just put the fastest lap of the race. This is turn 8, so right at the top of the corkscrew, heading in to the corkscrew. I think she's gone off left, then come across right. She was in a battle. We saw her having a little bit of a battle earlier on with Sally Mott, who has already started moving. Actually, it's just coming down the hill. My apologies. Car wasn't facing the way that I expected there. And we've already got the AMR Porsche Cayenne, new for 2024 shape car. And the IMSA safety truck there as well. Tyre bundles being manhandled back into position. Safety car is out. Opportunity for us to say thank you to all of our officials, track services, recovery, medical, and of course the hard-working marshals on post all the way around, and indeed all of our volunteers here this weekend at the Motul Corsa de Monterey. All of you are doing a very, very important job, and without you, we can't enjoy our motor racing. Good news, Heather's moving around in the car. She's opened the door. Hasn't got the safety net down yet, but she is talking to the AMR safety team. The hockey stick from the side of the car, the sill of the car, has been carried away. That's been ripped off, and the shift up now livery somewhat scuffed on the driver's door. That driver's door didn't want to open fully there because it's catching on the left front wing. But Heather is out without needing any assistance at all. That's the best news. Now, she was on her own coming through the corkscrew. Gets the first part right, but just took a little bit too much curb as she started to drop down, unsettled the car, and that will have set off the pendulum effect, as the drivers sometimes call it a swapper or a tank slapper. And at that point, you are dropping downhill there, Shea, so quickly. Even without any power being applied, that car would have been picking up speed, and at that point, Heather pretty much just a passenger.
Yeah, at that point, the steering wheel's not going to do much good either, because you're going to point it in any direction, and the car is going to go whichever direction the momentum's carrying it. It's about an 11.5-story drop from the top of the corkscrew all the way down to the bottom. So it is a big gain of gravity-based momentum. So for Heather Hadley, that would have been a very scary incident, but glad to see that she got out of the car on her own, and she was able to get into the AMR safety vehicle of her own accord. And thank you again to our AMR safety people, because they are the best in the business, and it is a sense of relief knowing that they're there for all of us.
Now we are in behind the Whelen Mazda MX-5 safety car, which has had a little bit of work done to it. By no means as much as the cars themselves. They resemble an MX-5 just with a roll cage in. It goes way deeper than that. Sequential SADEV gearbox, FIA roll cage, new seats, new dash, new steering wheel, fire suppression system. So many specific race parts that actually I can't read through them all for you, because otherwise we'd be 20 minutes after the end of the race. All done by the Fliss brothers up in Daytona. The only thing that is left absolutely stock, pretty much the bodywork profile is left the same. They all come in a base colour of white, although obviously everyone wraps them nowadays, so changing colours is not a problem. But the engine, the engine is sealed by Mazda Sport, and they put on proper Motorsport seals, so there can be no chicanery with those engines. So they are all identical street engines. Now, I drove a 2024 MX-5 just a few weeks ago over in the UK. First time I've been in an MX-5 for ages. And it took me about 200 metres of driving and getting them into third gear to realise why I love them so much. It's like putting on a very familiar and comfortable pair of shoes. You wear them at MX-5, you don't necessarily sit in it. Just a few little nips and tucks on the 24. They've changed the front end a little bit in terms of the styling around the underneath the headlights, and the day notice lights have been incorporated into the headlights for 2024. Also, there's for the street cars, there's a new set of Recaro interior, a different infotainment system, slightly changed on the limited slip diff as well, which is outstanding, and also a new setting for the traction and a stability control. It used to just be on or off, now it's on, track or off. So perhaps just building your way up with your MX-5 street car. If you've got a new for 2024 one, there's one that takes a little bit of the electronics out of it. And looks like we are getting almost ready to go back to green. That's the street car. The race car, of course, stripped out and very highly regulated. So all the cars built by Fliss, as I mentioned. Sad sight of seeing Heather Hadley's car on the back of the rollback. And they're just waiting for the field to come through. Hello to you all at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Decent crowd this weekend. Thank you for coming out and spending the weekend with us. Weather's been lovely, and hopefully you have been rewarded and enjoyed your spectating so far. Now, earlier on I talked about the cash awards for 10th down up to first in each of the rounds. That's not all. There's a lot of money being paid out by Mazda at the end of the season.
Yeah, $250,000 real cash money for the champion. $80,000 for the rookie of the year. $85,000 for second place, by the way. It pays all the way down to 10th. And then in each race, you walk away with money, which was a nice surprise for Caden Kelly yesterday. Made his series debut running with JTR this weekend, and he happened to finish inside the top 10 after yesterday's results were made provisional. So the reaction was, wait a minute, I get a check? Is this like cash? Do I get to put it in my pocket and walk away at the end of the weekend? And the answer was yes. Be sure to check in with your team owner for that nice little bit of money that you're going to get. Welcome to this series, Caden Kelly. We pay you to be here.
Yeah. So, still 34 minutes remaining. Sally Mott, by the way, is now back on the end of the safety car train, and that number 15 car, after that first lap incident, then certainly with work to do, she started up in the teens, but at least she's got the opportunity to go racing. Probably the only driver that was pleased to see that. Well, I say that, possibly everybody behind Tyler Gonzalez as well, because the top three had broken away. And Gresham Wagner, as we know, is the king of finding drafting partners and getting back to the front of the field. So it's two JTRs, 24 Aaron Johnson, and then the red and white Jared Thomas. Then the Saito Motorsport group, machine of Tyler Gonzalez. That's the white car with the green and red stripe on the hood. Then three Macumbi Makalia racing cars. Line astern, 5:83 and 22 for Wagner, Nate Cicero and Jeremy Fletcher. We're going back to green this time with 33 minutes exactly now on the clock. You are just joining us, Shea Adam and John Hindorf in the IMSA Radio Global Broadcast Centre. Good to have your company this Sunday morning. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca playing host again to the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin, crossing the line and off towards the brow of the hill. Now dropping down to the downhill braking area. Tyler Gonzalez, I think, had to go to the inside there because he missed his braking point by about 3 or 4 feet and expertly managed not to run into the back of Jared Thomas. Really good driving by Gonzalez. I think it slightly took him by surprise, either how fast he arrived there or how early the two cars ahead of him were braking. Top two beginning to break away, and here comes Gresham Wagner, and he's bringing the MMR trio with him through turn 5, Shay. That's really good move by Gresham. Now he needs to have a little bit of help here with Nate Cicero and Jeremy Fletcher not yet having gone by that white, green and red car, and that's allowing the remaining JTR guys to pull away.
It is, but it's a very interesting dichotomy going on right now because we have the two JTR cars already working together, and then the three MMRs split by that Sato Motorsports entry of Tyler Gonzalez. As we previously mentioned, Gresham Wagner brought in this year as a former series champion. 2021, he was 3rd last year and 5th in 23 and 20. He knows how to do well in this championship, so he is the example setter for the two youngsters from MMR in this race, Nate Cicero and Jeremy Fletcher. He showed them how to pass Tyler Gonzalez. Now it's on them to actually get the job done. Really impressed with the driving that we've seen so far this year from Gresham Wagner with a new team, and he's really coming back to the fore into that championship winning style that we've seen in years past.
And just noticed actually that Jean Jodouin didn't start the Macumbi Makalia racing car, the number 39. Can you bring us up to date on what that situation was?
That is a one-race suspension. He will be back for race number 1 at Mid-Ohio.
Ah, so that was the contact, was it?
It was from contact from yesterday's race, correct?
Yeah. So, top three back together again, and that was for Marty, by the way, who also noticed that, dropping us a note at IMSA Radio. Thank you, Marty. There was the answer. The writing on the bottom of the grid sheet actually told me that, but it's so small that I would have needed the Hubble Space Telescope to read it with my old eyes, I'm afraid. So we started 23 cars, 20 2 still running, with Heather Hadley having had that incident coming out of the corkscrew in her BSI Racing Mazda MX-5. At the moment, it is the number 24, Aaron Johnson. I'm still sort of having to get used to Aaron Johnson not running the Soul Red Crystal car. He's in the colours of JTR now, and off goes the number 55 again, Jonathan Norfin, another one of the BSI cars, and he goes a little bit of dirt running. Right behind him now, Grant West in the very distinctive yellow and white machine. Behind that, the Tiger Stripe 88 of Nick Schaefer. I've got a feeling that Neudorf there got a little help. He did. That was the number 99 going through of Bryce Cornet, Spark Performance. Very lucky that there was a bit of runoff there out of turn number 10. And Weston Workman getting the opportunity to make up a position there as well. At the front of the field here, it's the usual script. And once again, Tyler Gonzalez finds himself a little bit in no man's land as the battle goes on behind him, and that's Jeremy Fletcher from Accompany Michelin Racing, saying to his teammate Nate Cicero, by obviously the power of mental agility and passing that on through cognitive thought. Look, you're not having a go at him, so let me have a go at him. There's no car-to-car radio, but there is pits-to-car radio. Oh my goodness, round the outside. That was Nathan Nicholson. If he's pulled that off, that's outstanding. He almost has. I think he's still on the wrong side, and he comes down through Rainey in that number 56 car, the red and white Mazda. That was audacious to the max at the top of the corkscrew, and didn't manage to get it done. It just goes to show how competitive everybody is. Then Bryce Corday, then Weston Workman, then Jonathan Neudorf. I'm going to say now that the field's pretty much back together here.
They are. It is one wonderful pack of racing, and I just love the way that Nathan Nicholson races. He was our shootout runner-up for 2023, so we walked away with a check that allowed him to come racing in this championship, but he still had to find a bit of sponsor budget. He did. This series sponsor, Whelen, actually kicking in some money to allow the driver from Bloomington, Indiana, to come into our championship, as there's another huge plume of dust. These drivers are getting feisty, as we only have 27 minutes left in this race, and it really could be any one of the top, let's say 22 cars. Oh, that's many's on the track. Could win this one.
Down the inside on a 3-wide pass, Nate Cicero makes up positions, and that's put him in 3rd position. Started the lap in 6th, up to 4th now. Where will he be at the end of the lap? He could be back to 6th, he could be anywhere, to be absolutely honest. Thank you for tuning in around the world. All of our Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin Races once again this season, live and free with the international TV feed, also available here in the US. It has become appointment to view racing, and now if you've just come to us, I'm hoping you will see why. And this isn't the half of it, literally, as we're coming down with still about a minute to go before half distance. Particular hello and good morning West Coast time as we're on Pacific this weekend to all of our fans on the Discord group who follow all kinds of sports car racing and are massive advocates for the Mazda MX-5 Cup. We thank you for your support and for all of the kind comments. For Shay and I, having covered these since they have come back into the IMSA paddock, and what a great addition to have these cars back. Went away for a few years, came back, and I remember the first race back, of course, we were at Daytona supporting the Rolex 24, and we had 2 entirely breathless races on the high banks in Florida. What a way to announce their return to IMSA racing. Half distance, Shay.
Have we had a race where we haven't been breathless, John? I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's a fair point, well made. And fastest lap last time around for Nate Cicero in 4th position, and all of the top 4 doing their fastest laps of the race. Starting to throw overhand now, and that 1:36.585, Shay, at the moment bringing extra points to the car in 4th place, Nate Cicero.
Yep, there's 10 bonus points for the fastest lap of the race, 10 bonus points for leading the most laps, which I believe if we get one more, it should go the way of Aaron Johnson. He has led all 10 laps so far, and I'm looking over to my right and watching him climb out of turn 11 up the hill towards the start-finish line. This will be lap number 11 that Aaron Johnson has led, so he's looking good to claim the 10 bonus points for the most laps from today's race. And oh yeah, he's already got those 10 bonus points from getting the pole position for today's race. So Johnson really capitalizing on all those bonus points available this weekend.
And he got the 10 for leading the most laps yesterday as well, but didn't lead the one that mattered as he lost the lead halfway around the final lap to the man who's sitting in behind him now, Jeremy Fletcher, now in 7th place in the number 22 Michelin Racing machine. Goes faster than everyone else with a 36.2. Only 4 drivers last time around did not better their previous best time. This is beginning to rev up as we're inside the second half of the 45 minutes here. And then 99 going through. Bryce Cornet goes up through on Western Workman. Bryce with contact on Jonathan Neudorf, who's 2 cars further back now. Earlier on, has had a warning from race control for avoidable contact for that little hip check that sent the 55 of Neudorf off the circuit earlier on. There was a little bit of bumping and boring in the braking area into the corkscrew last time around. The noses and tails of these Mazdas are used to getting a little tap or two, even on the road circuits.
They're well reliveried, John. They just get added color each race with a little bit of different competitor bodywork.
Hello to Alan Prosser in the UK. Electrical storm heading his way, he reckons. He's listening to thunder. And we've got the rolling thunder of the MX-5s at the moment. Will we see some lightning here as well? Thanks for your support, Alan. This, Sunday afternoon, coming on at 5 o'clock in the UK, 6 o'clock in Central Europe. What's been a very pleasant 3 or 4 days weather-wise in Northern Europe. Johnson still holding on to the lead. Thomas, Gonzalez, Cicero, Nathan Nicholson in the red and white 56 is the best of the rookies. Then Gresham Wagner, is he biding his time ahead of Jeremy Fletcher in the 22? Those top 8 are pretty much together. Oh, big slide off the track. That was nearly even bigger there at the exit of turn 6. I think that was Jeremy Fletcher, wasn't it, who slid off. Let's see who comes back through the picture. That was, yeah, it was right at the back of that 8-car group. Might be Gresham Wagner, actually.
I think it was.
It was Wagner. Yeah, it was Wagner. I apologise. Both cars with blue on their hind quarters, and that's what I saw because it was so far sideways.
That is the Gresham Wagner style, though. He used to drive for 6 sideways racing, or at least the forerunner to it.
Indeed so. Big day today with the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, 2 hour and 40-minute contest to come. And if you're outside the US, we'll have that for you. As usual, live, uninterrupted, no subscription required. Go to imsaradio.com and hit the live video button on the top left. Sirius XM as well. Check their schedule for details if you're in North America and are so equipped. And we'll be on YouTube for that as well, again, if you're outside the US. In the US, of course, our colleagues at NBC Sports covering it for you. So a little shuffle there, and Tyler Gonzalez all of a sudden finds himself in 2nd place. Cross the line, and you get the feeling here, Shea, that there's just a little bit more aggression being shown here with the second race weekend. There's no need to save the car for tomorrow. Tomorrow, everyone's going home.
Well, and everybody's got enough time to, heaven forbid, repair their cars if need be, because the next race isn't until the second week of June at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And oh, by the way, some of the drivers in our field, most of the drivers in our field, list that as a favorite track, as all of a sudden Nathan Nicholson, back up into a podium position, he gets around Cicero and opens the door simultaneously for not only his team boss, Jared Thomas, right behind him, but there's Jeremy Fletcher going through. So once again, Cicero is the last of the MMR cars. He won't stay there for very long. He doesn't tend to stay in that position for very long.
All this going on behind one presumes, blissfully unaware Aaron Johnson, because he's got a 2 MX-5 length lead, and that's all he cares about. What's going on behind? The more they fight behind, the better it is for the leader, because they're not working together in peak aerodynamic efficiency. Open top cars here, punch a big hole in the air. Tyler Gonzalez, we know he's got a quick car in clear air. We saw it yesterday when he was chasing down the top 4 on his own, and he managed to get there. And he's right with the leader now. Nathan Nicholson, the best of the rookies, leads the next little pack with Jared Thomas so close to him you can barely see that car. Love the new. Oh, Thomas and Nicholson braking very late at the top of the corkscrew. That new throwback retro style livery. If you're a fan of motor racing, you will recognise that. And off
Weston.
with damage for Weston Workman, who was in 9th position in that next group. And he's got damage to the left rear of that car. He's pointing in the right direction and moving again. Now, he was, as I said, oh, that looked like he had help there.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. He had Jonathan Neudorf for company, and Neudorf has come into the pits.
Into the pits, and well, my father, who for the whole of my life was, for the whole of his working life when I was alive, was a police officer and spent some time a detective. He would say, I don't believe in coincidences. That might be the evidence that we convict Neudorf there. The left rear of Weston Workman's car damaged the right front of the Jonathan Neudorf car. I think we might have to get CSI Salinas onto that one, but I bet there's been some paint traded there, or at least some wrap traded there. Oh, hang on a minute, 5 across the track, going out of turn 5. Again, all behind the leader. Jansson still leads. Then Gonzalez. Nate Nicholson absolutely holding his own. He had a great run off the final corner yesterday. We should trail ahead for 17 minutes, by the way, because there is a long run off the final corner, and Nathan Nicholson was within 0.7 of a second of taking a victory yesterday, because he avoided all of the last lap, last corner shenanigans when Aaron Johnson threw it up the inside trying to regain the lead from Jared Thomas. He got a lovely run out of the left-hander at 11 and dragged up to the rear quarter panel of the leader. Just couldn't find. I'll tell you what, if the start-finish line had been at the brow of the hill rather than right there that they've gone through now, it might have been a different result yesterday. But for the moment, Johnson leads by just on a quarter of a second. And Nicholson's there, makes it a threesome. No, it's a quartet. No, there's 5, 6, 7 cars all there, all the way down to Jeremy Fletcher in 7th position. In fact, Bryce Cornet's the 99, the great car on the back of that, I think.
Yep, you're right on that. Bryce Cornier, who comes back to the championship after a few years away. We've missed him badly in this series as well. He reminded us just how good he is at racing these cars yesterday, and now he's looking again for another strong top 10 finish. But we have some guys watching in right now, John, who are dying to be in this race. Hello to Captain Celine Roland from 34,000 feet, flying once again. Hello to Parker Kligerman, former driver in this championship. We've got Eric Fulgaris watching on from another airplane. As off the track goes Jared Thomas. Come on, Jared, gather it back up. Oh, he manages to do it, heading up the hill to the corkscrew. There's his momentum gone. He's going to be off this group for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, our airline captain, I must dig out his details and give him all my travel details, because I travel with his airline all the time. particularly to and within the US. And hopefully I'll bump into him on a flight. That sounds like a nailed-on complimentary upgrade there, doesn't it? At the discretion of the captain. In the pits, by the way, Wyatt Couch has joined Weston Workman and Jonathan Neudorf. That's the number 66 Sato Motorsport group. Not sure what happened to that car. And we can see that. And there's no urgency there, Shea, going on with that car on the pit lane.
The only urgency is Wyatt very casually getting out of the car as leaving the pit lane. Breaking news, it's Weston Workman and Jonathan Neudorf, both cars rejoining the circuit. So don't know why, what they're looking to accomplish besides one getting slightly ahead of the other, or both of them trying to get ahead of Wyatt Couch for 10 more points. Every point counts at the end of this championship.
The black gold number 66, Wyatt, the rookie, jumping out of that. We have seen championships go to the very last lap of the very last race, and one race position in the way has determined the championship in the past. And that championship, of course, is worth how much, Shea?
$250,000 real cash money.
Thank you. Need to put that on a hotkey somewhere. Aaron Johnson then out for a Sunday morning drive with just on 13.5 minutes to go. Very, very impressed by Nathan Nicholson. Back up into second there, ahead of Tyler Gonzalez on this lap. This is a rookie. I said this last year, and it's the same this year. The days when rookies would come in and take a season, sometimes a season and a half, to learn the championship, and rookies would know their place and not be buzzing around at the front of the field. They were blown out of the water a few years ago with the likes of Sam Paley, who was fighting for wins in, at that time, that dark blue and black number 28 car that he used to run. The rookies now come in with such confidence, Shea, that they're immediately, if they're going to be challengers for the Rookie of the Year title, they have to be finishing in the top 10, probably in the top 5.
It's true, and they have to be winning races. I mean, last year we saw that with Nate Cicero getting a win at VIR, going on to take that Rookie of the Year honor and the check for $80,000 alongside of it as well. There was Connor Zilic year before that, who not only won the Rookie of the Year, he finished second in the overall championship. Yeah. He, by the way, took 4 wins in last year's championship, more than anyone else, but because he didn't complete the full season, he wasn't one of those people fighting for the top 3 in the championship. And Connor, we know that you're listening into good luck in your ARCA race, whatever that is. But Nathan Nicholson is such an impressive young man, the driver of that number 56 machine. He also, John, he's a part-time forklift operator for his parents' masonry business. So we talk about him driving these cars. I wonder how much skill he gets from driving something that has a little bit of rear steer.
Yeah, if he gets any damage to the rear suspension, he can handle it absolutely no problem. His right-hand door mirror is folded back. We see that on a reasonably regular basis. If the driver's side one had been folded back, you'll quite often see the driver's left hand just poke out through the netting and fold it back, but you can't quite reach the one on the other side, and therefore he'll be checking his rear view. He's one of the drivers that likes the big NASCAR style mirror hanging down from the roll cage, and quite a few of the drivers like that. It gives them the sort of the panoramic view from inside the car. And he's right up with the leader now. You can see it just under the wheel and shade band there. Brilliant stuff from our camera operators as ever as they climb through turn 5. That's a convex mirror so that it will take up some of the blind spot that is left by that door mirror being folded in. They, I think, must have re-engineered the door mirrors over the last couple of seasons, because we used to see them get knocked off rather than folded back. Probably somebody heard me say that I wanted the contract for door mirrors, and so they've beefed them up a little bit so that I could make my fortune and retire to Grand Cayman. Coming down to the last 10 minutes then, we've just whittled that top group down to half a dozen now, Shea. Johnson, Nicholson, Gonzalez, Cicero, Wagner and Fletcher.
And do you notice anything in common with the last three that you named? They are all McCumbee-Macalea racing cars, so it won't be long before the three of them are working together to try and get to the front. And by the way, Jeremy Fletcher still with the fastest lap of the race. That 10 bonus points going his way now, so John Som needs to put his right foot down and try to push a little bit harder if he wants those 10 points. Or did he learn from yesterday? Don't be greedy, take what's on offer. Right now, what's on offer is the win.
Jared Thomas is closing in on Grant West. Jared had that off on the dirt a little while ago in the red and white number 96. Oh, now we see Nicholson having to defend from Tyler Gonzalez, who's also defending from the number 83 of Nate Cicero, the black fronted car with the white and blue stripes on it. And this is allowing Johnson to pull away. Now Nicholson is uncontested in that group as far as the rookie points is concerned, and he's playing decent backstop at the moment for another one of his teammates. There goes the 57 of Tyler Gonzalez through into second in another very brave maneuver. Little bit of bumping and boring behind as Nicholson holds on to third for the moment from Nate Cicero in the number 83. It's the car with the black hood with the blue logo on it. Then it's the number 5 of Gresham Wagner. Then the 22 next up is Jeremy Fletcher, and Bryce Cornet, after all of that battling ahead of him, he's back on the end of that, so it's now 7. That grey number 99. Grant West is about 2.6 seconds behind, and he's got Jared Thomas with him. Now I suggest that if Grant West and Jared Thomas work together, they could be back on these guys within a lap or two. In fact, Grant West has just put his fastest lap of the race in and was a good couple of tenths quicker than anybody in the lead group. 8 minutes to go.
John Som now with nearly a 3/4 of a second advantage over the trailing pack. It won't take Tyler Gonzalez too long to put the right foot down and catch back up to our leader, though. The 24 still leading the way with John Som clear track. No chance of a lapped car ahead of him. That's good news as the MMR cars go side by side once again. Oh, Chad and Stevens' heart rates are going to be up.
That's the McCumbee and Macalea of McCumbee-Macalea Racing, both who have competed in this championship, and Wagner goes off the track and Cornet makes up another position. Right now, Cornet, with a car that is absolutely pristine, he's just letting other people make mistakes. He's ghosting through and picking up positions, and he's making up real estate as well. The battle for the podium positions at the moment are between the first three, Johnson, Gonzalez and Nathan Nicholson. You get the feeling that Nate Cicero wants to be among that. He's just a little bit, maybe a little bit too far back to get the tour at the moment.
But he's closing in. Nate Cicero knows what it takes to get up to the podium positions. He did it yesterday in the race. All right, it was awarded to him after the race, but you still have to do your own thing, and that's exactly what he's doing. Nicholson looks down the inside at turn 2 on Gonzalez and gets the pass made. Very good move
from the rookie. Let's just remind ourselves, yes, it's the first season in the big league, but Nathan does have racing experience. A lot of these drivers come up through Spec Miata, as there's the 99 gone around. That is Bryce Cornet for Spark Performance, and that's at the Andretti hairpin.
Oh,
first proper
Jeremy
corners
Fletcher
on the track. I think they were together, Shea.
Yep,
Fletcher,
they were,
the 22
John.
and the 99. That means that Jared Thomas is back up into 8th position and is now the next car in line. I'm not sure he's got a drafting partner though, as Gonzalez and Nicholson go at it again. Nicholson in the red fronted car, Gonzalez in the mostly white Mazda with the yellow rolled hoop. This is at the top of the hill. I think possibly the only racing series on the planet with 4 wheels that aren't go-karts that can go side by side into and through the first part of the corkscrew without someone having to go off the track. Super racing from all of these drivers. We say this is proper racing, it's pure racing, it's respectful racing as well, and this is what Mazda has fostered with all of its drivers, and the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup this year has been another brilliant example in all the races of what you can do when you race with respect. It doesn't have to be boring, it's never boring, it's always exciting, but this is great stuff, Shen.
It really is, and you know, it took Nathan Nicholson 5 races in this championship to find his way onto the podium, and he got up into second. Well, now he's racing in second once again, looking to hang on to that fine form. Aaron Johnson leading the way, a former scholarship winner. We've got Nathan Nicholson in second, a runner-up in the scholarship, Tyler Gonzalez in third, and then Cicero, another scholarship winner, back and forth, Jeremy Fletcher, and then Mr. Two-time Jared Thomas, the only repeat champion in series history, in sixth. And don't count Thomas out yet, because if these lead 4 start battling amongst themselves, Fletcher and Thomas will be in it before we know it. 4 minutes to go.
Keep an eye open for that red and white number 96. He's a couple of seconds away from Jeremy Fletcher, who's a couple of seconds away from this battle for the lead. And there's only 4 minutes to go. I suspect that Jared Thomas is going to run out of time. He's certainly not running out of desire or pace, turning some very, very quick laps. He did a 36.9 last time around. 36.7 though for Nate Cicero on the back of the lead group. Top 4 come to the line with just on 3.5 minutes to go. It'll be at least another couple of laps, I reckon, as they head over the brow again. And now the gloves are off. What do you mean the gloves are off? Surely they've been off all the time, Hindhoff. Yes, I can hear you saying that into your device, whether you're watching or listening around the world. It's been a bit of cat and mouse, but this is now like the last couple of rounds of a heavyweight fight. The jabbing, the dancing around, that's all over and done with. Someone is trying to land the knockout punch and make a decisive move. The question is, how long dare you leave it if you're Nicholson? Nicholson's dragging up to the back of the number 24, Aaron Johnson, who feels the need to go defensively into turn number 5. He got nipped up the inside into turn 6 on the last lap by Jared Thomas. That was a phenomenal manoeuvre yesterday. Is Nathan Nicholson confident enough of his own ability and his car's setup? Tyler Gonzalez gets a better run out of turn 6 again. He really owns that exit from turn 6 and elbows his way into second place for the moment, but right round the outside, track limits is going to be an issue there. Well, didn't gain any advantage. Nicholson drops down to 4th. Oh my goodness, the rookie will be disappointed about that. Now, 1st and 2nd, that's Tyler Gonzalez, no longer a teammate behind the number 24. JTR, Saito and Macumbi Macaulay are racing, all racing for themselves as well as their teams, and Gonzalez says now's the time with 2 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, and he's almost side by side. They cross the line and Gonzalez has scored as the leader by 0.021 of a second, and here comes the number 83 of Nate Cicero trying to push Gonzalez through to the lead, and he's managed to do that. Can he follow him through? 3 wide on the exit of the Andretti hairpin. And we are still all on the track. No, Gonzalez drops off but holds on to second. Here comes Nate Nicholson, and he's bringing the 22 of Jeremy Fletcher. And from a moment or two ago, the length of the front straight away, when there were 3 cars in it, we're back to 5. And it will be the white flag next time by, and back into 3rd place for Nicholson, and he's going for second at turn 5 up the inside of Nate Cicero. Well, that young rookie has not been fazed by being bumped out of it. Aaron Johnson, by the way, back to the lead in all of that, and he's pulled out a good second, and Cicero's off the track. He's going a long way off at turn 6, and he just swipes the wall on the exit. So that's another position made up by Jared Thomas, and
I think Cicero got some help there, John. It looked as though he got a hip check from someone a little further back. We need to keep in mind that Tyler Gonzalez is here for one reason and one reason only this season, and that is to win the $250,000. So whatever it takes for him to get the most championship points he can, which, by the way, winning really makes a difference in that, that's what he is here to do. Our championship leader, Gresham Wagner, involved in that incident with Bryce Cornier. That's why he's dropped back so far through all of this. And just a quick hello to Doug Morrissey, one of our main officials in this championship, as the white flag is racing. He's out with an injury, won't be back till CTMP, but we have been getting the text messages. We know you're watching.
Jared Thomas back up to 5th position. Wants a couple of extra laps. He doesn't have it. The leader, Aaron Johnson, it's his race now to lose 2.25 miles, round about 2 miles for the leader. And it's Nate Nicholson again in 2nd place. 22, Jeremy Fletcher going back up into 3rd. Lost it for a moment to Tyler Gonzalez, who's a left front Michelin tyre looked to be rubbing on the bodywork there. I can see a little bit of tyre smoke. Now, hopefully that'll hold together. Here comes Thomas, and there's more smoke from that left front. Yes, definitely damage on the front bodywork there. Now, can he hold this together? Gonzalez shooting for the championship in 2024. Here comes Jared Thomas in that red and white car, and he's pulling Grant West with him. This is not all over. Half a lap to go. Aaron Johnson with the better part of 2 seconds. Nate Nicholson will take the top points in the rookies category, but is he going to stand on the podium again in consecutive races in just his 5th and 6th events? Gonzalez putting pressure on that left front Michelin tyre. Now
Ignore
down
Gonzalez,
the hill through
John. He's got a penalty coming of a drive-through for the incident responsibility with Nate Cicero. He's out of this.
So Gonzalez will drop back. There'll be a time penalty. That will put Jared Thomas up into 4th. Now the race off the final corner. Who gets the better run? It was a tighter exit from the number 22 of Jeremy Fletcher. Aaron Johnson wins for JTR. Can Nicholson hold on and make it a JTR 1-2? He can't. Fletcher goes through in 3rd. Gonzalez is scored as 4th, but he will drop back with a time penalty. It'll be Jared Thomas, Grant West, Nick Schaefer, Nate Cicero. Now, a drive-through is normally a 30-second penalty. If it has to be added on, I'm waiting to see where Tyler Gonzalez drops down to. He's already down to 14th position. Sally Mott, by the way, from dead last, fought her way back up to 11th position, and 4th rookie, taking Caden Kelly in the late running there. Great run by Sally. Didn't let that first lap incident get to her at all. Aaron Johnson makes it a JTR Motorsports double for the weekend, and it's 1-2 this time as well. Now, where did that penalty come from Gonzalez? Oh, I think he was a little bit unlucky there because he was trying to follow a car through, but it is the last lap, and it significantly affected Nate Cicero's race, who will be scored in 7th position. Going into turn 6, Gonzalez just felt like he had to ease his way over to the right-hand side, but unfortunately, for all concerned, Cicero was there. That's not dirty driving. No intent there. He'll have been told, I'm sure, from his team. None of these drivers, as I was talking about before, we talked about the respect, none of these drivers are like that. Let's take a look at the unofficial results, subject to post-race technical inspection. Aaron Johnson wins it for JTR. His teammate Nathan Nicholson is 2nd and is in the best spot, scored by a rookie. Jeremy Fletcher on the podium in 3rd. Then Jared Thomas, believe it or not, scored back up into 4th after he was off earlier on. Grant West, Nick Schaefer, Nate Cicero, Batura, DaCosta and Woody Hyman for the top 10. Sally Mott just outside the top 10 in 11th. She's 4th in the rookies and the best of the female drivers, so she'll get the award for that. Bryce Cornet finishing well down in 17th after that incident with Gresham Wagner, who finished behind him in 18th position. Heather Hadley with accident damage earlier on, sadly didn't make it to the end. John Chadouin with a 1 race ban after contact yesterday. We'll see him next time out. The arithmetic has been done, the calculations are completed. How does the championship look as we leave beautiful WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca?
The hometown hero, the now local boy, Aaron Johnson, with that win, now leads the championship by dint of getting all those bonus points across the weekend. He has 16-10 unofficially, ahead of his teammate and championship rival for the last couple years, Jared Thomas, 15-90. It was a rough day for Gresham Wagner, who drops down to 4th in points behind Jeremy Fletcher, moving himself up one position. Jeremy is 100 points off the championship lead. Wagner is 180 off. Big changes in this championship this weekend, John.
Oh, what a venue. What a set of races. We move on next to Lexington, Ohio, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Another perfect place for these teams' drivers to show the best of the Mazda MX-5s. That's on the weekend of the 7th and 8th of June. Thanks to all of our volunteer marshals, to our camera operators, our technical team trackside at NASCAR Productions and in London. Shay Adam was with me, John Hindhaugh, for the Whelen MX-5 Cup. Bye for now.